Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Multiple Man, issue number 1 of 5. Now, this is suffering from a curse that Marvel does often. This was heavily promoted. Now, by it being heavily promoted, that means that it raises, our expectations, sometimes to a level that can never be met. And that is the only thing I feel this comic book is suffering from. If there weren't all those expectations risen in my mind, I think this comic book would have felt a whole lot better than it actually was. We do get to see the rest of the New Mutants. We do get to see a whole bunch of X-Men. We do get to see a whole bunch of crazy going on. There's some kind of a room, someplace that the New Mutants come upon, and it's airtight. And there's a bunch of like pork and beans or something baked beans down here, and Multiple Man by himself, one of the dupes of Multiple Man were down here. Now, originally all of the dupes and Multiple Man Prime were killed. All right, Jimmy Maddox, they all did die from the Terrigen Mists back in the very beginning, actually in the AVX. That was even before AVX. Avengers versus Inhumans. It was actually before Avengers versus Inhumans, for crying out loud. Inhumans versus X-Men. So actually before that, in the Death of X, this is actually where he died. I believe the very first issue. So obviously all the dupes didn't die. Let's just face it, all right? So it was an airtight, sealed place, and now he is essentially the new Jamie Prime. So there's that. Anyway, I like a lot of what's happening. They go to Beast, of course. Jamie's like eating like a beast, because why wouldn't he? he's like stealing a veggie wrap from what's her name, Kitty Pryde. I'm cool with it, man. And then he goes after Bishop because, well, Bishop has time travel devices on him. And why not? Bishop's the kind of character you can always push around, shove around. It's like, as long as you don't mess with Cable, the other time traveler, then we're okay. But Bishop, yeah, you could dump all over Bishop. What a shame, man. Bishop needs a comic book at this point, so he can come back and just be like, I'm whooping everybody who hit me over the head with a globe to knock me out and steal my time travel device. I'm just saying. I wouldn't complain if that happened. Anyway, he steals a time travel device and he goes off someplace into the future, and then he comes back. But he comes back because there's a version of him in the past, who came back also in the past, who's messing with him. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but the answer is okay. The answer is okay. Jamie Madrox himself is actually dead, the Prime, but one of the dupes survived, and somehow he goes in the future, does all sorts of crazy things, and then comes back, and he's trying to save the world from himself. So he's now the master. He's now the Prime. He absorbs. There was a dupe who tried to get away from him, and he just absorbs it. He's like, yeah, get back in here. I got you, bud. So, interesting. I'm more curious where this is going than anything else. I am entertained. This is a good comic book. Marvel does need to start doing more, hey, guess what's coming out pretty soon? Maybe you should check it out. Instead of too much, oh my God, this is amazing. You're going to love this. Don't do that to us, please, because you're only hurt yourselves. This was a good comic book, but it was a good comic book. Not the greatest comic book I've ever read. Like I said, I'd have probably felt better about the comic book if I didn't already have all this, it's the greatest, get it. Anyway, guys, I do recommend getting it. This is fun. Even if you're not a Multiple Man fan, the comic book may be confusing at first, but totally worth it. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.